computer. There we go. It's recording. Okay. So, like I said, it's a bit of a crazy time. I know it might feel crazy for you too. It's crazy for my family. We're all a bit stressed. We're all feeling it. And we just felt really compelled as a team to get online tonight and share this information with you, because what we have, we really believe can help you, and especially help the older people in your household and in your life. So what we're going to cover tonight is exactly what you probably saw on the flyer. We're going to talk about how fear and stress can create illness in the body and what you can do about it. We're going to talk about how you can make your own antioxidants, not just take them. We're going to talk a little bit about biohacking and ways to strengthen your immunity and also help to regulate your survival genes. You're going to hear from a few people tonight. One of them is me. I'm Tiffany Matthews. I have been in the health industry for just over 7 years now. I live in Tauranga with my hubby, and we've got 3 children, and I'm just really honoured to be on the call with you. We're also going to hear from, a bit later, Charlotte Venter, a good friend of mine, and she's coming to us from the Sunshine Coast. And we've also got Natasha Billington, who will be sharing a little bit with us, and she's coming to us from Perth. So it is my pleasure now to introduce you, though, to my brother-in-law here, Wiremu Matthews. He is not my husband or my brother, as some people have been asking, but he's my brother-in-law, and he also lives here in Tauranga. He's got 6 children and over 15 years experience working in the health sector. So originally, Wiremu graduated as a pharmacist, and he spent lots of years working there. He went on to become the pharmacy group business manager and then the CEO of the Māori Pharmacist Association. From there, he went to continue study, and he got a diploma in fitness and business. Then he went on to get a postgraduate diploma in health service, and then an advanced certificate in motivational medicine. So I think he's got such a broad range of knowledge in both conventional medicine, also in exercise and nutrition, and now what he's doing through psychoneuroimmunology, which is a very big word, which means the study of how mental health and emotional health affect your immune system. And so because of all of that knowledge combined, he is able to offer so much value to the people that he works with. And so we're really, really grateful to have him on the call with us tonight to share. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unmute Wiremu right now, and then let him take the reins for a little bit, and you'll hear from me again in a few minutes. Where are you, Wiremu? Okay, hold on. There we go. I'm pretty sure I've unmuted you.
Is that it? I think that.
Yep.
Can anyone hear me? That's working. Sweet.
Can we see you?
I'll probably just have to put my video on.
There we go.
They're working?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Cool.
I've got it on full.
We all good?
Good to go.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, Tiff, and good to be on here. Thank you everyone for jumping on. It's an opportunity for me to be able to, I guess, talk a little bit about what I do, which is help people in their health and well-being from pretty much any perspective you think of. So grateful for this chance to talk to you guys and just share a little bit about what I think might be helpful at this time. Now, just as Tiff has said, it's been pretty crazy here in New Zealand today. We've gone to pretty much level 3, we're going to level 4 in 2 days, which is our response to the COVID-19. I'm sure everyone's feeling a little bit kind of uncertain or on edge for lots of different reasons. I run a couple of businesses, so it's also affecting people from a business perspective, but also just in their families and schools shutting down and everything. But I really wanted to cover just, I guess, help us to get an understanding of what this kind of stuff could be doing to us potentially as well, not just from our mental and emotional well-being aspect, but also from our physical well-being. So that's some of the stuff I wanted to cover. As Tiff's mentioned, my background is, I used to be a pharmacist back in the day, and pharmacist means that I've done 4 years university level study in chemistry, which pretty much no one wants to do, biochemistry, pharmacokinetics, pharmacodynamics, and just a whole bunch of science basically to help me understand better how medicines affect the body and how the body affects medicines. It means the same for any food. So from a nutritional perspective, the same kind of ideas. So there's a whole lot of stuff that I did as a pharmacist, but realized that just because we've got all these medicines that can help people doesn't mean that they're going to make people well. In fact, for me, it became a little bit frustrating because I didn't really like doing the symptom management type thing, and I really wanted to find out why and get to a root cause for people. And that kind of led me to go and do the fitness stuff, the nutrition. We started a gym, and my goal was helping people to come off meds or not get on them in the first place. So that was kind of what I was trying to work towards, which was cool, but realized that just because you eat well and exercise well doesn't mean you're all of a sudden completely well either. And that kind of got me into this whole other aspect, which is called psychoneuroimmunology, which is basically how your thoughts and feelings affect your immune system and therefore your well-being. And so on the slide here to put up is basically a whole range of different feelings that we can experience. And these are having an effect on our physical well-being and particularly on our immune system at a level that we're probably not even aware of. And so that's kind of some of the stuff that I wanted to touch on tonight. And then also talk about what we can do about that, because it's one thing to know about it, but who cares? Like if you just know about it, if you're not doing anything about it, yeah, it's not going to make much difference for you. So one, to become aware of it, to know a bit more about it, but two, to actually have something practical that you can go and do that is going to help to improve your well-being from this perspective. And then three, talk about how you can help your body to do that more effectively as well. So those are some of the things that I wanted to touch on tonight. I'm also happy if anyone wants to ask questions or post stuff up in the chat. Maybe Tiff will be able to keep an eye on that and she can let me know of anything specific that comes up. But what I wanted to begin with, and this is partly because this is how our brain works, like when we're in this kind of mode, and a lot of us will be coming from whatever different things you've just been doing, 15 minutes ago. What I'd like to do to start off with is just help us to become aware quickly of what it is that you're actually going through right now. So one way we can do that is we've got to address the things that are coming up in our minds so we can help settle down that kind of active, full-on kind of thinking brain and relax it down into the space where we can actually talk about some things that might help to open up your mind to other options and other kind of learning. So the best way to do that I've found with people is to just quickly note down, and you can write this down on a pad, or if you've got a pen and paper, or you just type it in the chat if you're willing to do that. Just quickly write down and note down what it is that you're currently feeling. What are you currently experiencing right now? And it's best to put it in this context. We don't need to know anything about why, so don't need anything about the situation, but if you just type down or you wrote down, I feel ... So if you want to quickly go ahead and do that, we'll give you like 10, 20 seconds to do that. Just post up there, write it down somewhere, I feel ... and just put as many as you can think of that you come up with. Just chuck them all up. Might be stressed, uncertain, you might be feeling overwhelmed, you might be feeling bit of anxiety, you might be feeling panicked, there's so many different things that we could be feeling right now. So just become aware and just tune into that right now for you. We'll give you probably 10, 20 seconds to do that. Cool. Thank you for those that have checked up some stuff there. And this is a great range of feeling, right? We've got stress, we've got uncertain, we've got nervous, sad, unsure, excited even, which is cool. Alert, stressed, anxious, excited, unsettled. And this is exactly the kind of things that we need to kind of be aware of what's actually going on for us. And when you acknowledge that by writing it down or by even speaking it out, it helps your brain settle down a little bit, because what happens if we don't do that? Your brain's going to go away finding lots of stories for you to help you understand why you're feeling that. And if you're not acknowledging it, your brain's going to go into overdrive to try and find some reasons, some stories to fit the feeling, right? So thank you for doing that. It's such an important thing to do, and I encourage you to do that more often, especially over these next 4 weeks for those of us in New Zealand. As you're in kind of lockdown, it might be a good practice to do as part of a daily routine for your family. just to share with each other what it is that you're actually feeling, right? That then helps us then, now that we've acknowledged that, and we're not going to be able to address them all for you individually, but just for you to acknowledge that is a good start. It then, because this is how your brain works, it's like we need to deal with some of that stuff before we can get into the next thing. So we help deal with some of those not so positive things. Sometimes they're a little bit negative. We don't have to label them negative or positive, but that's kind of how most people understand them. And now we can kind of move into, okay, what is it that we can do? So with the slide that we've got up here, there's a whole range of feelings that you'll notice there, and they've got different numbers next to them. This is something that I believe came from Dr. David Hawkins in what is, and I think they've put some different labels on here, but they've kind of given you a range of different feelings that we feel. Now, interesting enough, it goes from shame, guilt, apathy, and grief, fear, right? Basically all that kind of fear stuff, all the way through to peace, joy, and enlightenment. And the idea here is that in times like this, where we do feel stressed and anxious and uncertain, is there's going to be a whole lot of fear going on. Fear of the unknown, fear of what could happen tomorrow, fear of death for some people, fear of you name it. There's so many things that we could be afraid of. And at this particular time, that's what's going to be high on a lot of people's minds. Now, this whole sense or this feeling is driving a whole lot of stress. And your body responds to stress in one way. It puts it all through the stress funnel. Now, quickly check up in the chat if you can, what are some of the different types of stress? We've got, if you know, there'll be physical stressors, things like radiation, things like pollution, things like, all the different things that we can think of from a physical standpoint. But what other stresses could you think of? Definitely mental stress. Yep. Financial, 100%. What else? Chemical, yep, we'd put that under the physical kind of stresses. Relationships, definitely. And so, yep, man, that is probably one of the biggest. And the work that I've done with people, and certainly the top three, it seems, as far as stress goes, would be anything to do with health, anything to do with work, and finance. Relationships right up there as well. So they are probably the top stresses that are kind of around us all the time. And so with all of this kind of stress that's coming into it, it just goes into the stress funnel, right? And the way that your body physiologically responds to that is to increase a hormone called cortisol, right? And probably lots of you be familiar with that. If you've heard about cortisol before, that's the stress hormone. That is the hormone that goes up. That's the one that says to your body, right, we need to take some action here. We need to get busy and do some stuff, right? And normally in an acute kind of stress reaction, that would mean your body wants to get moving. It's trying to give your muscles the energy, the glucose that it requires to help you move out of stressful situations. The problem is that for lots of us, we can't move out of emotional and mental stress, financial stress. For lots of us, we can't just jump and move out of relationship stress either. And so that stress then compounds and accumulates to the point where we become overburdened and overloaded with stress. So it's such an important point for us to understand that stress isn't just about, I feel stressed from the exercise or from anything physical that's out there, but a lot of the stress is coming from our mental and emotional well-being, or lack thereof. So with that in mind, and we think about all of these different things on here, the different feelings that we experience and how they contribute to our stress, we can actually end up getting physical symptoms from the stress that we're experiencing in different parts of our lives. So can relationship stress cause a physical symptom in your back? Yes, absolutely. Can the financial burden and overload and overwhelm that you experience cause a physical symptom? Yes. It's just sometimes we've got to be aware of that and find out how it's connected before we can do anything about it. So a big part of the work that I do in coaching people is helping them understand how physical symptoms that they're experiencing are connected directly to the mental and emotional aspects of who they are and what that has to do with it. So this is kind of a super important point for us to remember is that sometimes the physical things you're experiencing are a result of the emotional, mental, and even social well-being or lack thereof that you're experiencing. So what has this got to do with, I guess, how we can deal with things and what can we do about it? That's probably the bit that we need to get onto. Some of the things that would help with this, obviously, is doing our best to reduce stress as much as we can in many areas of our lives, right? So when we think about, I guess, the situation that we're in now with COVID-19, what are some things that we can do to reduce stress? If you want to just chuck up some stuff real quickly there in the chat box. Breathing, 100%. Deep diaphragmatic breathing. That would be fantastic if lots of us did that. Meditation, walking, yes. Getting plenty of sleep, yep. Yes, focus on what you can control, yeah. Spend time with those around you, yes. Connect authentically and deeply, yes. Mindfulness, staying hydrated, awesome. You guys already know so many. Meditation, yes. Don't overread. That's definitely one. Don't overread the news about COVID-19. That's a huge one as well. And do things that make you feel happy. Yep, these are all great suggestions. The top ones, and this is from, so a lot of the stuff that I do with people is help them understand this, but I don't get this just from myself. This is stuff that I've read and researched and that I get from trusted sources that I have, which are, I've got a couple of coaches in the States that I work with, as well as quite a few doctors around the world in the integrative health space. And so the top things that we can be focusing on right now that would help are first, sleep. Keep and maintain and get into, if you're not already, a healthy sleep cycle. Sleep is probably the most important thing that you can be doing right now, and making sure that you can get to sleep. Now, that might mean a whole bunch of different things for us, and finding the best way to do that is important. One huge thing that so many people that I've talked to are still doing is phones or any electronic devices in the bedroom. If you want to improve sleep, just don't put them in there. You find a different way. Read something else or whatever. Use something else for your alarm. Put your alarm in a different room. But sleep is such an important one. And the biggest disruptor to sleep, other than having 6 kids or a baby, would probably be devices in the room. The second thing, probably super important, would be ensuring that you get plenty of hydration, right? So that's been mentioned as well. And lots of, especially over this period of time, hydrate really well. And do your best to reduce foods that you know are not good for you. So reduce sugar, do your best to cut out stuff that you know is going to be causing problems, or that you know is not going to work for you. And that's particularly important at this time. And something that actually helps with that is to even reducing your intake as far as a calorie perspective can help as well. So get heaps of good sleep. Make sure you get into good sleep patterns. Sleep patterns are important. Get yourself into a sleep routine that is 30 minutes before you want to go to sleep. Have a pattern of helping your body understand that we are going to sleep now. What that looks like is, for me, it's about reviewing the day, right? So I sit down, do my review for the day, read something, have a whole little couple of other things that I do, and then that's signaling to myself that here's the pattern of me going to sleep. And it tells my body that it's time for sleep. So by the time I've gone through that 20 to 30 minutes, I can get to sleep a lot easier. So having a sleep pattern is important. Doing hydration is super important. And eating as best you can. The other parts of that is sunlight. Getting enough sunlight and getting enough fresh air. So if we can do those simple basic things, but do them consistently, you can get some extraordinary results. So they're ordinary things that we can do that will give us extraordinary results if we do them consistently. Cool. So that's a couple of quick things on the stress and what you can practically do about it. Part of what happens with the stress cycle physiologically in the body is that you also end up getting a whole lot of free radicals being spread throughout the whole body. So this stuff comes from the things that you've talked about. All those things that you said cause stress in the chat there, those are going to cause a whole lot of free radicals as well. Now, not just the physical aspects, but so do the emotional and mental aspects of what we've just talked about before. They also are going to be causing increase in free radicals at a physiological level. And so free radicals are basically little particles that are causing all kinds of trouble within a cell. And so what happens is things like inflammation, things like all the different stressors that we talked about, even chemical stress, having a whole lot of blood glucose for such a long period of time in our systems, having blood glucose spikes for a long time, having too much cortisol, and all these different things are actually contributing to free radicals. And that leads to what we call oxidative stress, right? Because they're bumping around in your cell, causing all kinds of havoc. And oxidative stress over a period of time will lead to oxidative damage, where it actually begins to hinder and impede the cell from doing its job. And that's not where we want to be. So in my pharmacy days, we used to sell a whole lot of antioxidants. I used to sell you a whole lot of stuff, supplements that you can buy from a pharmacy that help to neutralize these free radicals and help to kind of settle that down. What I've realized now is that actually that's great, but it's not enough. In the current situation and environment that we live in today, just taking antioxidants does not suffice, because there's so many free radicals going around. It's like using a little water pistol in a battle. It's not really going to have the effect that you want. Antioxidants are good, and they can help neutralize some free radicals, but there is a whole bunch of free radical going on from all the different things that we've talked about that are just overwhelming. And so a better way is to help activate your body to release its own antioxidants and to fight that battle on a whole different level. And that's kind of what we wanted to get onto now. So if you can just flick that, have we got that other slide, Tiff? Awesome. Hopefully you can see this, but if you can have a look here, there's what we call an NRF2, and this is something that I wanted to talk about now, is to help us understand what role does NRF2 have in this whole sequence here that I'm talking about, to help us to activate more of our own antioxidants. So this is a cell. There's a cell wall going around the outside. You can see where it's got kinase, and up there where it's got that yellow kinase, it's got NRF2 activator. This is the cell wall. Now, at every cell wall, there are receptors. That's what those kinase things are. They are receptors on the cell wall. And so what happens is when something comes in, right, it's for it to be able to get into the cell, and I actually probably could have used COVID-19 as an example, but something comes into the cell via receptors, otherwise it doesn't get in. So it needs to somehow get in via one of these receptors or a door that's in the cell membrane. And so an NRF2 activator comes into this door, right, opens up, it releases or it enables kinase to basically say, right, you can jump off there, and it comes over here to where you can see, hopefully, I'm not sure why get my thing out the way. Yeah. So here it's got keep one. Keep one is just a protein that's hanging out in the cell, but it needs basically that kinase to jump off there, bump that red NRF2 off that keep one, which is that keep one is like the thing that NRF2 attaches to, because if NRF2 is out by itself in the cell, it can get broken down really quickly by all these other things in the cell which help keep what we call homeostasis or balance in a cell. And so it comes in, the activator comes into the cell wall membrane receptor, it knocks on the door, it says jump off there, kinase, so it jumps off. That comes over here to keep one, it releases NRF2, right? And NRF2 then goes into the nucleus, which is that pink thing right in there, and then has a direct effect on transcription, which is basically how the DNA, the genes, are read and translated into proteins. Proteins then make up your whole body, right? From a material perspective. So it's a really important pathway to understand, but this is the basic outline of how it works. So something that activates this NRF2 here is that thing that's the NRF2 activator, that purple thing at the top, bumps into, releases the kinase, comes off, releases NRF2 from that keep one kind of holder thing, NRF2 then into the cell. Then it says to the cell, we need to make these antioxidant proteins, we need to activate these survival genes because we are under some crazy attack right now from all these free radicals. Now, when it does that, it releases, I think it's up to 500 survival genes and starts printing these things off to say, right, we are under severe attack. We're at kind of basically what's happened today. We are at level 4. We need to get a whole lot of these out into the cell and start surviving. So that's kind of how that works. It's a super important pathway for us to understand because it's so much more powerful than doing the old way, which we're doing, which is antioxidants. Taking a whole lot of antioxidants, even things like vitamin C and a whole lot of these other ones that we've been taking for a long time, are doing a more like a 1-to-1 kind of approach. This is doing more of a 1 to 1 million approach as far as the ratio goes. So it's pretty up there as far as important if you want to be activating this particular NRF2 and all of the other survival genes that it activates. So something that's, I guess, something for us to be aware of now that we're aware of it, that's great. And so what if we don't do anything about it? Then you've just got some new knowledge, but that doesn't really help you until you do something about it. So even for those of us that do our best to stay healthy, we eat really well and we're exercising and moving and doing all the things that we believe are the right things to do, and we meditate and we drink lots of water and we have good sleep and all that kind of stuff. Even for us that are doing all those things and doing the best that we can in this area, this is actually also important for us because there are still a whole lot of things going on to our bodies that we are actually not even conscious of, that are causing stress on us, just like the stuff I've mentioned right at the start. From an emotional, mental well-being perspective, it's a whole lot of stress coming in subconsciously that you're not aware of, but is affecting you physically right down to a gene level. And this is the study or the era of epigenetics, which helps us understand that the environment that we live in day to day is having a very real effect on us. And so the more aware we are of that, the more empowered we are to do something about it. So this is one pathway that I wanted to just talk to tonight. And Tiff is also going to explain a little bit more about what then can we do about it. Now that we have this understanding here, what can we then do?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you, Wiramu. Is that good? Did you have anything else to share? Sorry, before I...
Yeah, no, that's all good. Those are the main things.
Cool. We so appreciate you coming on tonight and taking time out of your evening to share with us. It was so valuable, and I'm sure if people have questions for Wiramu, you can just put them in the chat, and then maybe right at the end, if we've got some time, he could answer them. But I am now going to share with you exactly what Wiramu said. I'm going to talk about what can you do with that. So that's all great to have that knowledge, but how can you apply that practically in your life today to help you with everything that's going on? And so to do that, I'm going to introduce you to a company that I've started working with this year called LifeVantage. And you've probably never heard of LifeVantage before. They are the world leaders in a really new cutting edge science called nutrigenomics, which is the study of how nutrition affects your genes. Okay, Nutri for nutrition and genomics for genes. I'm just going to go and hold on, mute everybody one more time. Cool. Okay, so Wiramu already spoke about antioxidants. Okay, that's what I said about nutrigenomics. So we biohack with nutrigenomics. And what I love about this is that we're all living in a world that is moving towards lots of natural options, right? We know that the body can heal itself when we give it the right inputs. And LifeVantage, they make 2 incredible products that really help your body make what it needs naturally by using the science of nutrigenomics. So we can switch on those good genes. It's really exciting. So again, Widamu spoke perfectly about free radicals. We know it's happening inside the body, and the only way that we can reduce those free radicals is by increasing our antioxidants. That's a word I know we've all heard of before. And exactly like Widamu said, if you are trying to get all of your antioxidant protection from your food alone, I mean, food's important, right, guys? We eat it because it gives us fiber and minerals and vitamins, but the problem is we can never eat enough of it. At any one time, we've got quadrillions of free radicals in the body from all of those things that Widamu just mentioned. It's like he said, it's like taking a water pistol to a war. It's just not going to really do anything when you talk about optimal health, because one antioxidant can only neutralize one free radical. So even if you ate a whole tub of blueberries, you can only get 6,000 antioxidants from that. It's not going to make a dent when we're talking about dealing with huge amounts of stress that's going on in our life right now, on top of everything else in the modern world that we live in. So that's where the magic of what I'm going to share with you in a minute comes in. It has, when we look at NRF2 activation, it has a 1 to 1 million effect. Okay, so that means that the products that LifeVantage make, there are only 2, but they've been clinically shown to have a 1 to 1 million effect. So one tablet will switch on your body's ability to make their own antioxidants, millions of them, and they're more powerful than anything you can take externally. All right, it's really exciting. So what is it? There is a product called Protandim NRF2 Synergizer. Okay, this switches on that pathway that Widamu was talking about called NRF2. So NRF2, it makes antioxidants, as you saw from that diagram. We're born with this pathway in our body, and it's very active when we're young, but as we get older, that pathway starts to slow down. As we age, our body slows down that production of antioxidants until eventually they're not making any more, right? It just stops. So by taking Protandim NRF2, it's like flicking on a switch. So we're putting that pathway back on again. Okay, he said NRF2 is responsible for over 200 genes. So what we're also doing by taking NRF2 is we are helping to turn these good genes on. Okay, it's really powerful. Protandim NRF2 has also been clinically shown to reduce oxidative stress by up to 40% in 30 days. That's huge, you guys. We talked about just oxidative stress before and the negative impacts that it has on our body. So I think the best part of NRF2 is, first of all, it's in a product that we can consume. That's easy, right? We've got other things going on in our lives right now. So this is simple. And it's all natural. Totally natural. It's just 5 herbs. So what are those 5 herbs? The first one is ashwagandha. So this is a really good adrenal balancer. It helps to keep your mood steady. It helps to keep your moods controlled. You know, Widamu talked at the beginning about moving from that state of stress. How do we move out of that state of stress? Well, ashwagandha can help you do that. Bacopa is the next ingredient. It's a brain food. It helps with memory and brain concentration. Then you've got green tea. We all know that's a really great antioxidant. It's a good natural metabolism enhancer. You've got milk thistle there, which is a liver detoxifier. You've got turmeric, which is a natural anti-inflammatory. So all of those ingredients combined make a really, really powerful way to activate your NRF2 pathway. Now, some of you might be looking at that and thinking, well, why don't I just go down to, well, you can't anymore, go down to Binin, but, you know, why don't I just go to the health food store and pick up some of those ingredients and put them in a smoothie? And you could totally do that, but they have done studies on exactly that. And what we know is that Protandim has 18 times more effectiveness when it's used in the synergy and in the combination that it's been put, you know, patented together. It has 18 times more effect in the body than just taking those ingredients on their own. Okay, so it's about the synergy, it's about the combination. The other thing that I think is super, super important or really valuable when it comes to looking at Protandim is that it boosts something called glutathione. So glutathione is what we call the mother of all antioxidants. It really helps your immune system. It's a pretty tricky supplement for your body to absorb. So you might hear of, if you know anyone who does lots of exercise, who is an elite athlete, sometimes they inject themselves with it. because it's, it's a really powerful way to reduce oxidative stress. And what we can see now from when you're looking at studies that have been done on COVID-19, what they show is that, or even viral infections, they cause oxidative stress to the cells that are in our upper airways and in our lungs. And what can happen is that can cause inflammation in your body, which leads to more and more inflammation, which makes it difficult for people to breathe during an infection. So that's what's happening at the moment. And studies have shown and told us that the cells that are depleted of glutathione are far more susceptible to viral infection. So how amazing then that Protandim has been shown through third-party research, independent studies, that it can increase glutathione by up to 300%. Okay, that number is so outrageous that it almost feels made up. But we cannot claim that these products will cure or heal anything, but I can tell you that it will boost glutathione by up to 300% because that's a proven fact. Okay, we can show you the studies where that has happened, and that is one of the things that I love about Protandim, that it has these published peer-reviewed studies that are third-party, that are independent. So 26 of them you can find on pubmed.gov. So this is a government medical library. The United States government, they founded it, they maintain it, they look after it. And what you can see here from those studies, and also these ones from Harvard and Ohio State and Washington State University, is that the product does what it says it does. Very, very powerful. One of my favorite studies was done by Washington State University. Have a look at this. It says that NRF2, what Widomu has just explained to us, NRF2 may well become the most extraordinary therapeutic and most extraordinary preventative breakthrough in the history of medicine. Okay, that is a pretty bold claim when you think about the amount of medical breakthroughs that we've had in our history. That's a huge statement. And they go on to say that it is in our opinion that raising NRF2 is likely to be the most important health promoting approach into the foreseeable future. Guys, why wouldn't you want that in your body? This is really exciting stuff. I want to make it really clear though that we are not a supplement company. This Protandim is not a supplement. Just like Widomu said, you can go into a pharmacy and you can look for multivitamins, you can stock up on vitamin C, but that is feeding your body something external that it needs to break down and absorb. So what we're doing here is not that. We're not giving your body anything that it needs to absorb. We are activating your body naturally to do what it is meant to do. Okay, it's taking supplements to an entirely new level. We're flicking the switch on your body's pathways so that it can produce its own antioxidants. And in turn, that turns on all of those good genes, all that DNA that we saw in that first slide that Widomu showed us. We do a few other products, but I'm not actually going to mention them tonight. I'm only going to show you the things that I think are really important for right now, what's happening in our lives right now. So the Protandim NRF2 is definitely one. Then we've got the probiotic. Why do we have a probiotic? Well, we know how important our gut health is to our overall health, right? 70 to 80% of our immune cells are formed in the gut. So it's important that we look there. Disease begins in the gut. Gut health is a really trendy term that people use these days because we are waking up and understanding the vital role that our gut plays in our health. The gut is surprisingly also where our serotonin is produced, which is our feel-good hormone. So this is really going to help with your mental health when you are stuck inside with your kids for 4 weeks, or feeling maybe a little bit low that you can't go out and socialize with your friends. Taking a good quality probiotic is really going to help. If you look at some of the negative side effects also of catching, maybe if you come down with COVID-19, they say there's lots of dysentery and diarrhea. So again, probiotic, taking care of the gut, is going to help with all of that. And then the third product that I think is really important to mention is NRF1. Okay, this works on a different pathway in the body. It works on the mitochondria. So your mitochondria are the batteries of your cells. It's the energy. It's when we turn the food into energy. So if you don't take care of that, eventually, just like our antioxidants, eventually that stops producing mitochondria and we get tired. And everybody I know, I don't know about you, but everyone I know complains about not having energy and not being able to sleep well. Widomu just told us one of the things we need to do is to get into a good sleep cycle. If you struggle with sleep, this is going to help. This is a lot of that has to do with our metabolism. So if we want better energy and we want better sleep, particularly during these stressful times, then this product works specifically on that, on your mitochondrial health. And again, it's using that same science of nutrigenomics. It's just 5 different herbs. Okay, it is my pleasure now to bring in Natasha. Natasha is joining us from Perth in Western Australia. I'm just going to find you here, Han, and unmute you. And if you want to put your camera on as well, Natasha's had a really great experience with using Protandim, and she's going to share that with us. Where are you, Natasha?
Hi.
There we go.
See me.
Yay!
Look, I'm real sunny and happy at the beach. Oh my gosh. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm Natasha Billington from Perth, and that photo is of me at the beach. I've come back from America and I've been in isolation and I'm hanging out for the beach. And I think we're actually going to be following suit with New Zealand soon and be in lockdown for 4 weeks as well. So, but anyway, I've been asked to share my story with Protandim and the health benefits that I've received. So basically, I have been on the product for about 18 months, and how that happened was that I went to Bali and I had a friend that I went with who had the Life Vantage skincare, and I forgot my skincare and I started using her skincare for a week and got amazing results. And then I was like, what is this? What's going on? Now, I'm very much a health advocate. I've been in the industry for close to 10 years, and I was very much a believer and promoter of supplements. I used to take my 20 supplements a day with my minerals and my vitamins and my fish oils and things like that. And I was healthy. So when I found out about Protandim, I started to do a little bit of research, and it just felt right. It felt like it was something different. And with the reduction of oxidative stress, I really wanted to know more about it, and also the anti-aging side of things. So I literally went cold turkey and I put all my vitamins aside and went on Protandim just to see what would happen, because obviously I'm very much a believer of, if I do get results, then have a serious look at it. So basically, I can honestly say that the results started to show within 2 weeks. It was crazy. I'm quite high energy level anyway, but I was able to sustain that energy, and my brain fog was cleared a lot. The whole driving around and then you forget where you're driving to, or you're going into a room and you forgot what you were going into that room for. That seems to be a lot clearer, and my seems to be better. But my main thing that I was testing is my shoulder. I need a full shoulder reconstruction. I have got no cartilage and I've got all osteoporosis going on and things like that. So when I was on the supplements, that was being held at bay. It would ache a little bit. But with Protandim, seriously, I have gone to the surgeon who said and advised me that I needed to come in to get surgery. And he said to me, okay, put your hands up. And so I did, and I did all these things that he asked me to do. And then he asked me if I was in painkillers, because that's what I should be doing. And he was absolutely blown away, and he's having a serious look at the product as well. So when it comes to the turmeric and the inflammation side of things, I've had phenomenal results, especially at my age, to not have to look at a shoulder reconstruction and possibly never have to look at a shoulder reconstruction. I'm extremely happy about that. So I will never stop taking the tablet. Everybody I love is on the product because it is phenomenal. So yes, that's my story. Thank you.
Awesome.
Is there anything else you'd like to know?
Thank you so much, Natasha. That's so good.
Thank you.
I love your energy. You and I are very, very similar, I think.
Yeah, we're going to have to Zoom during these hard times, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
But thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be on. That's great. I'm going to mute.
Okay, cool. Perfect. Okay, guys. So I just feel, I love that example, and there are so many more people that or that I've come across just in the few short months that I've known about these products who are having really incredible results in their life using it. And I just feel so deeply about this, that it is really important that over the next coming months, our bodies are in the most robust, healthiest state possible. As a company, we cannot make any product claims. There is no product that's going to stop you from catching the virus should you get it. But what you can do is give your body the best possible chance of dealing with it, especially if you have elderly people in your life. So I'm going to hand the time now to a good friend of mine, Charlotte Venter, who is joining us from the Sunshine Coast. She's going to take the reins and close us off for the night. So I'll just unmute you, Charlotte, and then feel free to share your camera.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thanks, Tiff, and thanks, Tash. And hey, Tiff, why do you hand over when you start talking about old people? You're like, I'm now just going to talk. Anyway, I'm so honored to be on here. Thank you so much, everyone, for giving me a few minutes to share with you why I'm even here today. Well, as Tiffany mentioned, I live on the Sunshine Coast of Australia. Beautiful, beautiful place. As you know, if you've been here, I live here with my husband, Andre. We've been married 28 years, almost in a month's time. And we have 2 children, Brandon, who's 26, and my daughter, Robin, is 23. We're very family orientated. Family means a lot, and legacy, especially to me, means a lot. So what does legacy mean? Well, it's basically making sure that my life counts, and that as I'm gone one day, my life keeps going and it keeps giving and giving in whatever form. And that set me on a journey about 4 years ago now. Actually, next month it's going to be 4 years ago on the 6th of April, to find something, number one, for my health, for me and my husband. We had struggled with certain issues. And secondly, I was looking for something that I could do for my family to set us up financially for decades to come. So first of all, the most important part for me was health. You know, as many people today are focused on and faced with this health crisis, I want to share with you that nobody ever came to me and said, hey, you really should look at this company. I went on a search. I looked at the top 100 companies products to find the one that I believed was really the most important for me and my family in health. And that's when I found Protandim NRF2. You see, friends, as to beautifully explain to you tonight, that we are not just another product. This is an activator versus a supplement. LifeVantage is focused on the new age of supplements. So if you look at, for instance, iPhones and those old flip phones, today taking a supplement is like having a flip phone. Taking an activator is like having the latest iPhone. Why? Because it helps your body to make naturally what it needs itself, to keep itself healthy. Now, activators are becoming more and more common, and you'll see more of that in the near future. So I encourage you to look out for the words biohacking and activators, because that's what we do as a company, and we are the leaders in it. Let me say to you that right now, we as a company are so focused on helping people. We are not taking this current situation for granted. We are also not taking advantage of it. LifeVantage is a very, very different company. We have such a heart for people. We love people. This company's slogan is because you matter. You know, this product, Protandim NRF2, has been out now for 17, almost 18 years. We have sold 26 million bottles of this. 26 million bottles. And my dear friend, in New Zealand and in Australia, we only just launched in New Zealand in November. So for the first time, this product is available in your country. And oh my gosh, the timing could not be better. You see, it is a different type of product. The history of how it was founded was because a guy walked around school thinking, why the heck are my mum and dad dying of cancer? He lost both his parents to cancer. He went on a journey to really study the human body, and he did that. He became a scientist. For 40 years, I couldn't think of anything more boring, but for 40 years, this guy spent in a white lab coat behind petri dishes studying why do people get sick. He is the man who discovered free radicals in the body, Dr. Joe McCord. He is the inventor of our products, my dear friend. He found free radicals creates oxidative stress. Oxidative stress creates damaged cells, and damaged cells is the start of all disease. You see, that's the history of this product. So I feel for you. I'm sure you're bombarded right now with all sorts of people telling you that you should be using their product. Please do your research. Go to pubmed.gov. PubMed.gov is the medical library of the USA. It is governed and funded by the USA government, and anything on there has been peer-reviewed and scrutinized by many different boards to be sure that it's true. Then they publish it, and that is what the medical professionals use to do their research. They look at ingredients, and they look at treatments, at drugs, at symptoms, and different diseases. How can they treat it? It's all on PubMed.gov. I have never found another supplement that has been put on there. We have 26 studies on there. 26 studies and another 5 studies that have been done outside of that by institutions such as Harvard, etc., to prove that this product works. So I know right now there's lots of options out there for you. I believe me that the only product that I would recommend to my family, if you can afford one only, is Protandim NRF2. I have made sure my entire family is on it. My children, doesn't matter how young they are. I was just this morning thinking of how on earth can I get some product into South Africa for my mum and dad, because it's really difficult to get it through customs, but I know how important it is. So in these difficult times, we come to you with hope and help. That's our vision as a company, and that's the purpose of this Zoom tonight. So thank you so much for being on here. We really recommend that you get this yellow pill in your body and in your family's body immediately, especially older people too, really important. We actually start from the age of 12 upwards with a full tablet, even though it's not tested on children. So the company officially can't say kids can have it, but there are thousands of testimonials where we say and where we see people give it to their children. If you're concerned about that, 18 and up, 1 tablet a day, super easy, 1 tablet a day. And I believe it's $74 in New Zealand. So it's about $2.80 a day. It's less than buying a coffee, right? Friends, there's so much information I can give you. Please go look at my Facebook page. I just put up a post yesterday about a top scientist. This is the guy who discovered HIV, a drug for HIV, so a cure for HIV. He put up yesterday an article saying that oxidative stress is the main cause why people are getting sick with corona and why they're dying. You see, this product that Tiff showed you tonight, Protandim NRF2, is peer-reviewed, proven to reduce oxidative stress by 40% in just 30 days. I have never seen anything that does that. 4 years in now, in Australia, we're almost selling $1 million a month in this product. What we're seeing is that people who started stay on it. They're not leaving it. They keep buying it. Why? Because it works. So please join us as a customer. We would love to help you and your family. If you would like to know how maybe you can pay for your product or be a part of our community, we call it a family of helping other people, and be a distributor, please join us tomorrow night for the same time, same Zoom number, so that we can share a little bit about the business. And tomorrow night, friends, you are going to hear how I, as an ordinary mum, just a woman with no qualifications, nothing special, but with a desire to change my family's future and never have to look to the bank again for $1. I'm going to share with you how I went from earning 0 to over $500,000 Australian dollars a year just distributing this beautiful product. So please join us as a customer. And if you or any of your friends are interested in that little side gig or earning a bit of extra money or earning big money, please join us tomorrow night, because I'm going to share my story with you. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a wonderful, wonderful night. Take care. Hug your families. Tell them you love them, because we never know what tomorrow brings. Thank you, Tiff.
Thank you so much. Good night, everybody. Well.